She responded.
All right,
She did.
we're going to call the meeting
okay.
of August 7th of the Administrative Services Committee to order. Roll call, Gloria,
Yes, here.
Teresa,
Here.
Terry,
Here.
and I'm here. We have a quorum. Could I have a motion to allow Pam Altoff by Terry, seconded by Teresa? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, welcome aboard, Pam.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the July 2nd meeting? By Teresa, seconded by Terry. Any changes or corrections? Not seeing any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those are, no one has signed in for public comment, and I'm looking around the room, see we have lots of staff, but no public, so we will move on. Is any member comments? Okay, not seeing any. Gets us to, there's new business. Is Julie Kamor? I don't know how to pronounce it. Kamoris? Is she here? Does anybody know? If not, we can go to the consent agenda and come back when it comes in. Oh, okay. I'm going to pass over that in case she comes in. We'll come back to 6.1 and 6.2. Routine consent agenda 7.1 through 7.7. Does anyone have anything they want removed? Go ahead.
Pulling 7.3 and 7.4, but they can be together.
7.3 and 7.4. Any others? Not seeing any. Can I have a motion to approve 7.1, 7.2, 7.5, 7.6, and 7.7?
Motion.
By Gloria, is there a second? By Teresa. It involves money on several occasions. We'll go on a roll call on the consent agenda. Gloria?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll vote yes. That approves 7, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Can I have a motion so we can discuss 7.3 and 7.4? We can take
Motion. Yep.
Motion by Teresa. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gloria. Teresa, you asked to be pulled.
Yeah, so I was just wondering how many bidders were there for the two just for bids?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Hi. I'll have to look. I think we had 3 for landscaping.
How many bidders for what?
So for the two contracts, one is for the landscaping, one is for snow and ice removal. And so I was looking at, the question was how many people or companies responded to the bid?
Snow and ice, we had 5.
Okay. And then 3 for the other one?
Landscaping, we had 3. Our incumbent missed the deadline. So
Okay.
that would have been 4, and their account rep was out of town and unfortunately missed it.
Okay. And what about, were they the incumbent for snow and ice?
They were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we also have experience with them.
We do. They've provided good service for us, and they're a large landscape company here in town, and I don't have any issue with them being able to provide great service for us on the landscaping side.
All right, thank you. That was
Any other items on 7.3, 7.4? Any other discussion? Not seeing any. For the record, we got Eric back in. Thank you, Eric. So, all right, we'll go to vote then. Gloria?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Pam?
Yes.
All right, and I'll vote yes. That takes care of the consent agenda. Gets us to budget reviews. GIS. You got the lucky straw. You get to go first. Good morning.
We strategically put Nicole first because she's so good at this and shows a good warm-up act.
So I'm Nicole Gattuso, I'm the Director of GIS. And I'll keep it simple, like similar to last year. If you have any questions regarding the highlights or goals or performance measures, for our staffing, we have 6 staff members within our department. We haven't changed for several years. We've remained steady on our staffing. And last year, the county board approved an increase to our recording fee due to the rising interest rates and low inventory of housing. It's affected the number of recordings, and our department is fully funded by the recording fee. It funds our staff, our software, both on our server and desktops throughout the county. It funds our most of our equipment and any consulting, and our aerials and LiDAR. So funds basically all the GIS initiatives for the county. So you can see in last year, our 2023 actuals were around $790,000. This was before the adjustment in the fee. And with the adjustment, we are on par where it'll meet our operating costs and be able to pay for those aerials and LiDAR. So, I have 2 supplementals in our budget. Sure.
Are we supposed to have the documents on the screen? No?
They're in the.
I know.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but
no,
yours is
got
not.
it.
If you want to grab that, you can, that cord should stretch that you'd be able to
Oh, I'm
use it.
okay, I got it.
Okay,
I just was asking.
Oh,
it's okay.
for our supplementals, I have $150,000 for our aerial photography. This is one of our important data sets that's used across county departments and by assessors and other municipalities within the county, the general public. You could see the aerials online with our interactive maps. And we also have a supplemental for a GIS hydroflow model viewer. This will allow a greater view of how the flow of water is and a better understanding of sediment load and the spreading of nitrates. There's vendors that have been able to use our LiDAR data and model out the flow of water, as well as utilize other data sets to give a better view for counties. So given the importance of the drainage in McHenry County, this was something to consider.
How much was that?
That was $60,000.
Is the LiDAR, and it might be, and I haven't looked, is the LiDAR available online yet or not?
The topography data is, there's other data sets that go into making that topography data set that you see that can be utilized to do more with it. The data set, the raw data that goes into making it, it's in the terabytes, so it's
Rather
very
large.
large.
Terry, if you want to just put that on your desk, it'll fit.
I see what you're saying.
Sorry about that. Questions? Are you
Yeah, that's the extent I have to do.
questions for anyone?
I may have missed it. Why is there an increase in personnel costs? Or is that just because of the prorated year-to-date?
Yes, there's no increase in staff.
Okay.
Very
The increase is 4%, which was the merit from last year, and then a little bit from the comp study.
A little bit from what?
Like 0.6 from the comp study that we just had in July. Those are reflected.
Any other questions for GIS? Are you guys okay going forward from here with GIS? We understand we don't decide on supplementals today in case anybody needed to be reminded of that. They go into the bucket with everybody else's. Pam, are you okay?
I have consensus, it's all good.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to information technology.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Morning.
So if you guys want to go over highlights, goals, that type of thing, or do you just want to get into?
Let's give us
supplemental
money. Tell us about the money
Show
and
us the
tell us your
money.
supplemental.
Right, yeah, I was
Show us the money.
gonna bring last year's where you were going through all of the dangers that we need to, with settlementals. I was like, well, this was quite an enlightening conversation.
It was really
or you were able to fund quite a bit of those, so this list is quite a bit shorter. So we're making progress, doing better for
All
sure.
right.
Okay.
You guys remember, Tom had a pretty daunting list last year.
Yes, no, I remember. When I was going through these in the board packet, I was remembering about the presentation last year. I was like, wow, there's a lot that you encouraged us to look into.
When we sat with Tom a week or so back, we noticed we did make a lot of progress on it. And we still got a good list, but it's about half the size as last year. But there's still some important and expensive things that we gotta do.
True. So personnel requests, the top personnel request would be, we have one person right now that's primarily responsible for the sheriff's office. And the sheriff's office is 400 people in 5 different buildings. And they are continuing to use more and more technology, and what we're finding is with one person, we just can't keep up with it. So that's our top request for personnel.
Can I just, going off the top, we have a vacant IT sergeant in corrections.
We do, and there are plans for that. That is not lining up with this request.
Is that, I noted that yesterday when I was looking at the vacancies. Right?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a need for FOIA as well, and a training coordinator out at the new training facility and firing range that we were going to use that position.
In some ways that further legitimizes Tom's request.
It does.
Because what we had was a retirement of a sworn sergeant with the gun and a badge, who was pretty good with IT, and he was providing a lot of support there, but we haven't really filled that void.
Right.
So that's our top request. The next 1, 2, 3 requests for people. So we have OnBase, which is a enterprise-wide system, a tax system, which is an enterprise system, and the ERP system, P365, Kronos, payroll, all those. We've got one person supporting those systems. In the event that that person terminates for any reason, right, there is no real backup. We have a lot of documentation and we have people that can fill the void, but somebody to jump right in, we don't have that. And these are systems that are critical to our everyday, day-to-day functioning.
Oh, nobody wants to get paid anymore. It's okay.
Pardon?
Nobody plans on getting paid anymore. It'll be okay.
So, I don't think those are as critical as the sheriff position because there's just so much work to do in the sheriff's department and trying to cover all these different facilities and the amount of people that they have. So I put that one first. As far as the supplemental requests, Microsoft Entra, it's not supposed to be extra, it's supposed to be Entra ID P2 licensing. That's $64,000 a year. The reason I put this one first is because we are moving to passwordless implementation for logging into the network, right? And with this passwordless, we're doing two-factor authentication through Microsoft Azure. And the only way to repel man-in-the-middle attacks with Microsoft Azure two-factor authentication is with this Microsoft Entra ID P2 licensing. So that would be an annual cost of $64,000 added to our current Microsoft EA for the next 2 years. And then whatever that, I'm sure will increase after that. The EAs are 3 years in length. But that's the reason for that request. WASA, Security Information and Event Management, that's all these costs, or the majority of these costs are annual costs. Everything with IT is moved to subscription. There are no perpetual licenses anymore. This is for log aggregation. So we have all this information being fed from multiple different IT systems that we use for security. This is a place to aggregate that information or that data and make it into information that's something that we can work with and see what's going on. CityBot communication platform. So this is a type of AI, artificial intelligence, that would be on our website that would allow people to chat with the website, and it would be able to enhance the search features of the website as well. So it would increase citizenship or citizen engagement with the website. If we do this, thinking this might be a 2-year venture, because we have a phone system right now that's coming off lease in October of 26. And we're starting to look at phone systems, and like if you look at, for example, Zoom as a phone system, they have web bots that integrate with your website, right? That allow you to chat with people directly within the organization, and then that could go to a call or it could go to a face call. So it's a lot tighter integration, a lot better engagement for the citizen right to a person in the organization. You know, there's a lot to work out with that type of scenario, but that's what's available now. But that's not cheap either, right? We're getting a real good deal on our phone system right now. We're paying about $6 a user a month. These new systems are more up around $20 a user a month. So to get that type of functionality, it would be a lot more money. We'd have to figure out whether that's something that we want to do. In the meantime, if we want to put a chat bot on the website to give people that experience, that's what this would cost.
Question about that.
Yes.
How many people know how to use AI that they might be interviewed? You know, you're talking about staff members, right? With the phone systems and having the AI capability on the phone, going from the $6 to the $20. How many employees are there, or people that are covered? Is it, I was looking at the numbers, I can't quite tell, is it like under 2,000 or is it 3,300, or how many actual users are there on the phone system?
There's 1,200, around 1,200 users on the phone system. We have a few more phones than that because there's phones in these rooms and the halls and stuff, so there's probably around 1,400 phones.
So is it an all or nothing thing where if you do that, it would have to be on every phone system, or that you could select who would have that ability that would either need or utilize that ability?
I am sure, I'm not sure. We're not that deep in the weeds yet, that's a good question. I'm thinking that the licensing would be modular like that, so you can pick and choose.
Yeah.
Who, as far as people being able to use the AI. So what would happen is somebody on a citizen would engage the website through a chat bot, right? And then they could if they're not getting what they need, they could escalate that to a person inside the organization through a call. When I say there's a lot to be worked out with that, like we haven't talked to departments about that. I don't know, you know, are they gonna need extra people to do that sort of thing? I'm not really sure, but that's the type of technology that's available.
Yeah, I mean, and it's great technology, and we're talking like year to year. It's just for people to comprehend and for it to become something that's useful to the average user. I don't know, like in it yet. I mean, I know business people that I know that are using it, really a lot to grasp and manage, you know, so that's all.
We're not gonna use AI just because it's new. If we go down this road, it'll be because we're gonna control the growth of staff and or provide better service. Both. But we're not gonna be cutting edge.
Well, but also with this particular software, what's interesting about it is that.
Oh, you're talking about CityBot.
Right.
Which the city of Elgin is using already.
But, yeah, may I approach, please?
Sure, of course.
Which,
You're on.
Yes, Counselor.
well, there's a reason why I want to come up. We're working on an AI work group right now to get our hands around all the different advents that are coming up technologically here at the county. Because again, AI is a broad term that can encompass a lot of different pieces of technology. So again, I mean, what exactly you mean by it, it can be a lot of different things. So for CityBot, what's cool about it, and sorry for cutting in on your budget here, but I get really excited about this particular piece of software because it literally uses artificial intelligence to scan your website and whatever website you choose for it to scan. So if you would like it to scan the McHenry County Conservation District's website, for example, if a citizen has a question about that, you could. And if a person has a question, the AI will only answer, theoretically, what is on your website. And it just, you know, and it gives to the site of what, and it gives a citation to your website so people can look at the actual page too and say, okay, it's not crazy. And be able to check it, fact check it too. Now, it also has the ability to direct you back to a person. So because sometimes, you know, different pieces of artificial intelligence don't do exactly what you want. So you have to have a stopgap in there to make sure that a person can be checking it and helping out. So if a customer doesn't, you know, get what they want, they can be directed to a person. Now, why do I really think this particular software is cool? Because in my generation, let's just face it, we don't like talking on phones as much. We don't like, you know, we don't want to come in person as much. We want to be able to find what we want online now. And a chatbot will make it so that we can give customer service to people in different generations and different, you know, with different desires of communication in different ways and serve different customers as they wish. That doesn't mean that you can't reach somebody on a phone in McHenry County if you don't want to. That doesn't mean that you can't come in person. It's just finding a different way to serve a different demographic. Or just people who may not be in different generations and have different desires for communication. I mean, the county's not open 24/7, but this chatbot could be. So, anyhow, all right, I'm gonna get out of here right now.
Would this be a yearly thing, $30,000 a year? Or, because you were saying
It will be
everything's a
eventually.
license, everything's like a
It will be
license.
eventually. It may not be yet at the beginning, they may be a teaser, but once you get used to using it, they're going to convert it to an annual fee.
We
You
would
know,
expect that this would be next, if this is approved, because clearly, I don't know what your Mrs., are you Ms. Schuler?
I am Ms. Schuler.
Ms. Schuler. Clearly, she's excited about CityBot, so I'm thinking, oh, maybe she would try to push that to a definite happening this year, supplemental. Would we then see, again, $33,000 next year?
It's
We
an
would
annual
anticipate
subscription
that.
fee.
Yeah.
Part of the 33 is install configurement,
Yeah.
right? So a spin up charge. And I think that's around 5,000 or 7,000.
Yeah.
So next year would probably be around 30, or the year after would probably be around 30,000, because I'm sure they'll up it after we're using it.
Right, yeah.
Have you looked at the, sorry, is it all right if I speak? Thanks. At the impact on what that might take off of personnel being able to have the chatbot and AI? Okay.
No, we don't have any ROI figures. Because we don't know what the use is gonna be for long. I mean, maybe you could talk to Elgin, they're already using it.
Yeah, but again, they just started this year, so again, you know, you're not gonna have that data point quite yet.
Any other supplementals?
Cisco ACI server segmentation. So we've done a lot of segmentation on this network. We want to increase that segmentation. What we're trying to achieve is a situation where every department is a tenant to the network. So a department can make a decision that might not be the best in terms of security, because that's the way they have to do business. Maybe they have to interact with state of Illinois systems. We know those are not very secure, right? Maybe they have to use Google whatever, right? Not too secure. So we want to segment the entire network so that as those decisions are made by one Department A, it doesn't affect Department B, right? That would be completely wholly contained in Department A. So that's what the Cisco ACI server segmentation brings us. Great Plains application conversion to D365. I don't even know if the treasurer wants to do this.
I have not brought it up with her.
So that's something that we've talked about internally. They use a program called Great Plains, which D365 can do that, but it would be a big change for them. I'm not sure that they want to do that. So, and it's further down the list. Comcast ENS. So right now we use AT&T ASE, and that creates a network between all of our remote sites into here, right? So it's like we have fiber to those sites, but it's through AT&T leased lines. So Comcast ENS does the same thing. What we're proposing is that some of our sites need redundancy, right? So if AT&T ASE goes down, they don't have any connectivity to us, right? They don't have connectivity to, they can't work. So what we're proposing is that we also put in Comcast ENS to those sites so that in the event ASE goes down, ENS would be up. One of probably the most important site for that would be Valley High. They do everything in the cloud. All of their work is in the cloud. So ASE has been good. It hasn't gone down. But in the event that it did, we would want some type of redundancy or backup. The problem is the build out for Comcast out to Valley High is like $180,000 or $200,000. So that's before they start charging for the service. I don't know, there's been some talk about maybe Valley High pays for some of that. If we do other sites in addition to Valley High, then Comcast would spread those costs out over the other sites and then obviously over like a 60-month contract. So if we want to go down that road, we need to identify what do we want to do.
Say that again, Pam?
No, nothing, sorry, I'm talking to the truck in front of me.
Use your fingers.
Sorry.
So we would need to decide
Sorry.
like what buildings need that type of redundancy, right? So there's a lot, that's why there's all these different costs, right? Because we can pick and choose how we want to do that. And like I say, the biggest need, in my opinion, is Valley High. It's just critical to their day-to-day operations. They have access to the internet. The upgrade M365 G3 licenses to G5, that's an annual cost too. Obviously, it's way down on the list. We're also looking at Teams as a replacement to the phone system. That would require this G5 upgrade as well. That's a couple years out, like I said, October 2026. We're looking at different phone systems. The reason that this is on the list is because Microsoft is basically paywalling their logs. And with the last breach we saw, it didn't affect us directly, but we tried to figure out whether if it did affect us directly, how would we have interacted, how would we have dealt with that? And what we found out was there's not a lot we could do because all these logs are paywalled. And this is the cost for that. It's a lot of money. Finance bot project, I thought this was off the table.
I mean, I think it's a good idea, it's just a matter of resources.
Right, so this is a project that would use AI as robotic process automation, basically automate some of the processes in the finance department. Things like information that comes to them that they have to sort through and then put in D365. We can automate that, so if you have a standardized form for information coming in, not on paper, but electronically, then the bots can scan that and they can put it into D365 and eliminate some of the manual labor that they have to do in the finance department on a day-to-day basis.
Just got trained.
Dynamics CRM, that's a customer relationship management system, and this is not for the actual system. That's probably in the millions. This would be a study to figure out what do we want to do with that. So what can be done with that, we have multiple departments, right? We have 20-some departments, and what you can do is you can take their databases and put them into one database, right? That's a CRM system. So you can have some visibility throughout the organization of what different departments are doing to answer questions, things like that. Way down on the list as well. This one should probably be up higher, computer support, software support and maintenance. What we're seeing is these costs continue to go up. You know, we have 30% inflation. I know the inflation rate is down, but the costs haven't gone down from the 30% inflation that we've seen over the last 3 years. And our costs continue to go up. We just need more money to pay for those maintenance contracts. Without the maintenance contracts, we have nobody to call when we have problems, and we have problems every day, right? There's always a problem with some system. Nothing stays the same, there's no status quo, we're constantly upgrading, and as a result, there's problems. We've started to use this NordPass password manager, and I'm not suggesting that every person in the organization needs this, but what it does is it puts your passwords into a database, a cloud database, right? So that we can get away from the dog, cat passwords, right? It can generate really long, complex passwords, and it ties into your browser. So these systems that departments are using that are outside of the county purview, they can be secured using this password manager. Like we're using it right now in the treasurer's office, we're using it in IT, starting to use it in the sheriff's department. So this was kind of a reminder to the finance folks that if people want to do that, they need to anticipate $80 a user a month. And then these next ones are all AT&T ASE for these new sites that have come online. Those are annual costs that have to be dealt with. We're suggesting that we deal with the majority of the phone bills. We're happy to deal with those, but we need money to pay the bills. So that's it. I don't know if you have any other questions
I
about this.
have a question.
Go ahead,
I
Pam.
have a question. I'm sorry. Is the move by our clerk's office to the new offsite facility going to have any impact on the budget or your plans for the future with regard to, again, IT security?
So the election center is connected to the government center via AT&T ASE, right? So they're just another one of the remote sites on the network. When it was instantiated, we built into the project the computer hardware that was needed to create that secure integration. If we want to, create redundancy with the AT&T ASE, we would need money for Comcast ENS. Does that answer the question, or are you looking for something else?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
So I have a question. So these 3 new sites you're talking about, the Sheriff's Firing Range, the Regional Office of Education, and the Election Center. Those are the 3 new ones that we would be talking about.
Right.
For this budget.
Are there 4? Is there 2?
Sheriff Firing Range, ROE, Election, and Sheriff Training.
Okay, I don't see training on this last.
Training center.
Oh, I see it. It's on the previous
Same.
page.
Yeah.
Okay. So all these cost like $600 a month,
Those are recurring costs for connectivity.
and
to
so those are
sites.
all kind of new.
Yes.
Are those, so there's actually 4 then, right?
Yeah.
Actually 4 sites, okay.
We're paying for them now, but we're paying for them out of a project or something. And we're suggesting that since we deal with the phone bills, move that recurring costs into the IT budget and we'll pay the bills.
Okay, say that again.
We may move some money from other pots to handle
Okay,
this.
so we're not paying any more or less, we're just moving it into a different pot, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I understood that. Okay. So there's no savings from, we're
No
just
savings, no.
putting it, classifying it differently.
I mean, I guess there are some personnel savings in that we deal with all the phone bills, so we're used to dealing with them instead of paying for them in all these different places.
All right, thank you.
So if I counted right, it was you have 4 new positions put on supplementals, and most likely you're saying the sheriff's one is absolutely needed, right? Of the other 3, is there, if you hired 1, could they kind of do all, like, be the backup for all 3 of those?
We could start out that way for sure.
All right.
Any other questions? Are we okay to go forward?
Is everybody going to be in the room at the end of the meeting, or are you guys taking off after you're done with your presentations?
I wasn't planning on staying.
Okay.
Why
all
do
right.
you want me to?
So, yeah, no, I don't want you to stay, but I just, I know that we're beginning this process of looking and everybody's putting in, it's hard to tell what's a Christmas list and what's an absolute necessity to keep things operational. And I just want to remember that we are in an economy right now where, because of the supply chain being backlogged, people having 6-month advances on orders, this is real world here in our county. Now they've all caught up on their backlogs. Their clients cannot get financing because of interest rates to buy inventory. So their orders, like one very large company in McHenry County says, we don't cancel orders, we just push them back. Well, they've been pushed back from last November to March, now to another November. That's 1 year that they have been without orders significantly going out of their door. And this is across the board, you guys, in manufacturing, which is the bulk of our economy. These are the taxpayers who live here. We have got inflation. The basic food purchases have gone up for a family of 4 for just healthy food, nothing extra, no snack junk, $900 a month. That's a 40% increase. And we're seriously coming into this budget season with these increases. This is not the approach that we need to be taking with our taxpayers. Just had a gentleman, Fox River Grove, a tract house with a family of 4, vinyl siding. He's just a regular guy. And he just said, we have to leave Illinois. My property taxes in Fox River Grove on that house, which is just a basic $12,000 a year. You guys, I know that we're just a small portion of the tax bill, but it all adds up. And you ask anybody right now, I mean, people are losing jobs for real. The unemployment rate is up. Things are dissolving. People, there's no ups and extras. And I just have to say that I really sharpen your pencils and pull in your belts and do something. We care about the people who live here. They are hurting. People are doing without, and it gets down to like trying to put gas in their gas tanks to even get to work. We have to be mindful of who we're serving. And even though we want to provide services to them, if they can't pay their tax bills and they can't afford to live here, then what type of service are we giving them? We have to care.
I know you're not scolding, Tom.
I'm not scolding you.
I don't have a more conservative department head than Tom.
I
know you're not scolding. He brought a big list, and I said, let's share it all, because it is a list of things that are on his mind. It's a list of things that are going to need to be addressed one way or another. And this is a.
Well, that's a good question.
Tom is not expecting to get all those.
Tom, this isn't about
And it's
you.
not a Christmas list. It's not a Christmas list. It's a list.
So Pete,
Yeah.
I need to share this. I'm giving a perspective from business, economics,
I don't want it to be.
and taxpayers.
I want it to be dumped on Tom.
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, you
I'm
can
not
stay till the
feeling
end
that.
and I would have addressed everybody, but I thought you'd like a few minutes in your day. So I'm just going ahead and get it out now because we've had 2 presentations.
Attack on me at all.
So it's
Just
not.
say that it's not a Christmas list, and I'm right with you in terms of, I don't want to see the taxes raised. I don't want to see that, you know. I understand the economy is not good, and it's probably not getting better anytime soon.
No.
But I also feel like it's my responsibility to bring these things because that is where the county needs to go.
So
Now, are there policy decisions that need to be made? Where are we going to spend the money? Yeah, I get that. But I'm not taking that as an attack whatsoever.
Oh, it's not, and it's not. And what you're saying is true. See, there are some things, and I know, I'm tiny little IT background, some things break if you don't maintain them, if you don't have support for them, if you are not, staying on top of it. These are the types of things that we need to know right now, and if something goes up, what's going down someplace else? What's the give and take across the board? And I just really, I have to say this, at least on behalf of my constituents and the business owners of McHenry County, the businesses that are here, whether the owners are here or not. Many of them are in Florida or Texas or South Carolina because even they don't want to pay the taxes here anymore. And you hear about it so much. We just all got off of the wonderful county fair where we got to have face-to-face people sharing what's going on in their lives and their households and their pocketbooks. So that's all. I mean, all of us, when you're running a household and your income is flat or down and you have to have certain things to run it, then you know that other things are not going to be there because it's a zero-sum game. And I'm just saying it now getting it launched because it's true and we have to be mindful of it. We cannot act like we have just an open purse to spend money. We can't do it again. So that's all.
I agree.
It's not about you.
No, I agree. But I would be, if I didn't bring these things, I would be remiss.
It'd be great to know what will break if it's not done this year. That would be great to know.
Well, I did rank them.
Okay.
So I agree with what you said. I think it would help me if I saw on this list, this is something that we absolutely need to do. We absolutely need to do this because in that presentation, I heard some things that sounded like, this would be nice if we could have it, but it's not going to compromise security or put us in a lurch if we don't. So I think a priority of what we absolutely need to look at so that we can have a very clear understanding of what it is we need to move on in this next budget would be good.
They are prioritized.
Okay.
Except for we have to pay for the software support and maintenance, right? Number 10 should have probably been like 1 or 2, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to, that's the only one that's out of order. That's the only one that's out of order. The first two are security-based. Do we have to do them? You don't have to put a lock on your front door.
Yeah, but security is the number one issue, so we don't want to compromise there.
Right, so, I mean, that's why I ranked them the highest. Because I think that those are very real
The real
things
dangers.
that could affect us in a very negative way.
And I also realized that Carrie and Peter, talked, probably more than just you two, talked to all of the department heads. And in their heads, they do have a list of what's gonna be put towards finance eventually. So,
Okay.
I realized that my first couple of years in here, I was like, how am I supposed to know this? And Rand's like, oh, we tell you, thank you.
We give you recommendations.
Yes.
Recall your budget policy suggests we're going to bring, I think, 5 scenarios forward. And that creates different amounts of excess or gaps.
Right.
And then we fill it in with these projects. It's pretty straightforward. There are reserves that can sometimes accomplish a few of these items too. I appreciate Tom bringing it all forward. And he asked, should he bring it all? I said yes, because I think it is our responsibility to show you.
I have a question. So the first 4 things on the list are 4 positions. And I know you went over this, but 4 positions that are, you can't function without them? There's no way to shift loads or cover it?
I said the sheriff position is the most important because they have 5 buildings and 400 people and we can't keep up with it. The other 3 I said those are enterprise systems, right? That are used all day, every day at the county. We have one person that really understands each one of those systems. I said we'd put ourselves in a much better position for business continuity if there was some redundancy in those positions. I didn't say we have to have it.
Well, in
We're
case
getting
that person
by.
leaves. You said in case that person leaves.
If somebody
you're stuck.
leaves, we're gonna figure it out, but there's gonna be a lot more bumps in the road than if we had some redundancy there.
I guess, I asked you, can we use, for those extra, those 3, could there be 1? Is that, and that's, I guess, maybe a question, Peter and Carrie.
That's where you start.
Is it likely that you're gonna, which scenario? How far down the line does it take to get to the second new position for IT? You don't know that yet.
I don't know that.
You don't know that yet,
We don't have
okay.
all the pieces.
Okay.
To see how
I'd say right now, I think it's gonna be a challenge to do 1.
Oh.
I just tell you right there. 2 would be nice, but I think 1 is gonna be tough. It's not gonna be an easy budget.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand it's not gonna be easy. I get it.
So are we okay to go forward at this stage? Yes. Pam, you in agreement?
She's still.
Now she's mute. Now she's
No,
muted.
no, we're worried.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Okay. All right, we're going to county board.
County board, all right, the next three are county board, county chair, county administration, pretty boring. There's not a lot of changes, and I'm hopeful, there's any suggestions, we'd appreciate it. And on the board, we, staff, kind of came up with some highlights and goals.
Okay.
I think they're all relevant, come up, Alicia, but I wanted, if you see something in here that you want rephrased or deleted or added, we want to hear about it.
Back on the supplemental issue, there really aren't any on the county board, correct? Okay.
No, there's no.
Make certain we didn't.
If there were.
I know, in terms of goals for the board, I don't think, there's two that are kind of intertwined. One is develop that strategic plan.
Right.
And I shouldn't say no, we strongly believe that an anchor of that strategic plan is going to be space analysis. And, what is the county's footprint going to look like over the next 4 years? We kind of talked about this earlier in the year with this committee, and the suggestion was get it in the strategic plan and get it in the strategic plan. That having been said, I just kind of want to have the discussion. I wouldn't mind getting an RFP out this fall, just so it's ready and teed up to act on early next year. But I'll defer to you guys on that. I think we could put something together in the next month that you could review in September that we could get on the street and get ready to go, rather than because I don't. In my mind, it doesn't make sense to sit and develop a strategic plan in January and February and approve it in April and May, and then put an RFP out on the street on space analysis when we know this is where we're going.
What do you guys think? I certainly don't have any problem. I thought we were going forward with it anyway. I don't see how we avoid it. We have, there's just some disproportionate things. I mean, we know we've been talked to by the court system. They want 12,000 square foot of building, and that doesn't make a lot of sense.
As I'm sitting here, I'm reminding myself, this conversation I had with Scott last week. And Scott's dealing with family issues in Pennsylvania today. I'm sorry he's not here, but he'll be back tomorrow. We have done our last two space analysis with the same company, and it's Wold, who we've got under their professional services agreement. We could move with them faster, and they could probably do it for less money. So Scott did, I think, call those guys last week. So we might be even moving faster than that. I mean, because they have all of our square footage data. They've been here. They know our buildings. So we might be able to do something even faster and for less money, getting that going. So if you're in agreement, we can at least bring that item forward next month to talk a little bit further about it.
I certainly don't know, but I don't see how you solve the problems. I know that when we talked about it before, I know the last one is 8 years ago, something like that. And
we've done a lot of the suggestions, but
I understand, but there's also some changes in the dynamics and what the systems are demanding today versus what they did before COVID.
Similarly, on the strategic plan, I guess that was my brain was going, because I kind of fused those two together. We can get an RFP together on that shortly and get that ready to go and moved on right away early in January of next year with the new county board. Probably can, again, talk with our incumbent contractor there, NIU, who's done this relatively inexpensively and knows our system pretty well. We can see if there's anybody else who wants to compete for the work. Okay. I think we talked about incorporating AI. We just did a lot of that for the last 25 minutes, but I mean, AI is starting to be everywhere and really thinking it's going to be more next year. So I kind of put that down as a goal for the county board. Tom talked about, scanning some of the documents in finance, but we're seeing it in the treasurer's office, the circuit clerk's office, and the assessor's office. Every one of those offices is going to be doing this. What do you call it?
RPA, robotic process automation.
Robotic process automation. So it's coming, and I think it's going to add efficiency. It's going to reduce errors and control the growth in staff. that is the county board that is, budget. If there's any additions on goals and highlights, we'll welcome them. You know, in the past, sometimes after this meeting, we've kind of sent it out to the whole county board, the goals and highlights, and see if anybody else wants to add anything. Would you like us to do that, or?
I don't have any problem getting the rest of the board's input.
Okay, we'll do that then. The chairman's budget, similarly, not much changed. We did, the county board previously voted on an increase for the next chairman of $4,000. So the salary is going to go from 82.3 to 86.3, then be indexed for the remaining 3 years of his or her term, starting in December of '24. So that first $4,000 increase is incorporated all here. Kathy looked that up for me this morning, and Carrie already had it in, so it's good teamwork. Chairman Bueller has looked at his goals and.
On that same line, we did the same thing for the other electeds.
Correct.
So
There are.
that's why we're not doing
half
this
of our
right now.
half of our elected officials are getting a wage increase on December 1st.
But they didn't get one 2 years ago because they're 4-year terms. Okay.
For those of us who came in first.
This
No,
is
but
for
county board
electeds,
members don't.
not the board members.
So I guess this is part of the goals. I'm just wondering with the one with the ARPA funds, making sure that they have been designated. Just a comment on that. Where are we with that? Or making sure they're all allocated?
You're first of all, good catch, because I think we sprinkled monitoring the advanced McHenry County dollars in the county board chairman's goals and the county board's goals and in county administration. It's everywhere. You know, where are we? Had a really good conversation on Monday afternoon with Carrie and her staff, Carrie Johnson and Mike Scala and Chairman Bueller, kind of updating as to where we are. And by and large, we're on track to get all of our dollars out the door, or at least targeted. You know, they don't all have to be spent by the end of this year, but they got to be committed into the right bucket by the end of this year. And with only a couple of minor exceptions, I think we're on track. We're going to have a pretty good discussion on that tomorrow, actually, with Finance Committee.
Okay, and then spent by 2026.
Correct.
Okay.
County administration, Alicia, do you want to touch on any communication highlights or goals? Okay, if you want. I know you added several of these. Again, we're going to take the lead in developing the strategic plan, or preparing you to develop the strategic plan and get going on the space analysis. Kathy, working with IT, is really upgrading our internal SharePoint website to kind of move us to greater automation on things like room reservations and vehicle usage, and our whole liquor license process is going to be automated and done online, you know, from top to bottom within the next year, right? It's going to be awesome. So I think that's going to be a nice goal and addition. You know, that in terms of highlights in the last year, I think I'm really pleased with how the transition in leadership has gone in our assessor's office and in human resources. Could not have asked for an easier transition, and I appreciate you letting us build that kind of succession plan that was there, and that's worked well. Met with Alex Benitez yesterday, just kind of on how things are going in his office, and they're really going well, so I'm happy with that. One item, it's I guess it's kind of a supplemental. This ultimately won't land in the county administration budget, but it is going to be a growth that's kind of part of county administration. For many years, Shaylin has worked with the Council of Governments on a state lobbying contract that, and Pam, I hope you're listening on this one, that you know, we've been paying through our membership in the Council of Governments for our lobbyists, but it's principally been the lobbyist for the Council of Governments only. That contract needs to be elevated to become a little bit more market competitive. McCog is going to throw some more money into the hopper there, but I think what we have asked is if we could own about a third of that contract, $20,000 of a $60,000 contract, that would give us access to that lobbyist on an everyday basis as needed. Now, that's not what we're anticipating every day, but it would allow Alicia more contact with that lobbyist. And we're working on county-specific issues or if it's issues specific for McHenry County. It would help Council of Governments, and I think would help kind of tighten up our relationship with this lobbyist and with our activity in Springfield. We do not have our own lobbyist in Springfield. We have a kind of partial with McCog and kind of partial with ISACO, but we don't have anybody we can pick up and say, will you go chase this for McHenry County? We don't have that, and this would afford that.
We used to have it.
What's that?
We used to have it.
Yeah, we did. So that will be part of it.
And Peter,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pam.
no, I was gonna just jump in. I was just gonna jump in and say, I've been pushing for this for a while. It became abundantly apparent that we needed more representation with the whole solar farm issue and the legislation that was passed. We had no advocate in Springfield.
So that was not for approval or recommendation in this budget because it's not going to be in county administration, but it will be in our non-departmental budget that will ultimately go to finance in September. But I wanted you guys to just be aware of it.
How does that compare with what other counties do?
Oh, they have so much more.
So like, look at our.
Other county, let's refer.
Oh, yes, they've got federal lobbyists, they put other money in there. I mean, I believe DuPage has lobbyists, Lake has lobbyists.
Page, Lake,
I believe
and Kane.
Kane's even looking at, Kane has one too, so again,
But
this is
could we look
not.
at counties of comparable size? Because I'm sure there are many counties that are larger than us.
Well,
We are the 6th largest county.
Yeah, I
But also
And
it's
the
within
5
the
larger than us all have lobbyists.
But it's also.
I'll interject that Kane County has specific lobbyists just for transportation beyond what they have for state and federal issues.
On these 3 items, does anyone have any other questions of Peter? Are we okay to go forward with all 3 of those? See no objections? Okay, we can go on. Just stay right there. Strategic plan development.
That was what I was going to mention. I guess I already did it. And we have a relationship with NIU Center for Governmental Studies, and I would like to explore that and get something teed up so we could have a contract ready to go for the next county board. And they did it for so.
They've done it 3 times.
So
that I
inexpensive.
know.
Last time it was under $20,000 because Alicia, the intern that's going to be coming in, Scott, we kind of do it a lot of it in-house. So, but
Any objections to that?
And that, because it's under 20,000, it doesn't need to go to any bidding? No.
it's a professional relationship too. It's ongoing, but I think we can get that ready. We got time, but I want it to be ready. I don't want to waste time in the new year.
College come in and do it rather than private industry on this farm.
I mean, I had when I was part of it last time, looking around, only me and you were part of it last time. I thought it went well, yeah.
No, it was fine.
Yeah, and they did a good job of engaging brand new board members. That was the difficult thing. I was a brand new board member and I'm like, I don't know. But they had a.
Spread it out.
Right.
So, okay. That was a hard one. Do you need a motion on that or no?
No, just I want to,
discussion.
if you're okay with that direction, we'll head that way.
That's fine. Reports, capital plan update. Just want to hear about ribbon cuttings.
We'll start in Crystal Lake with the public health ARPA plan to remodel that facility. So right now, we were hoping to get our bids out in October. However, they will be out in September. The architect needs more time to finalize basically the staging elements of the project. How are we going to keep the building open and get the public in and out safely while the work gets done? So we're working on that with them. So that then would become, it'd come in front of the county board in November for consideration at that point. We'll hope to have some alternates in the project to allow for some flexibility should the numbers come in higher than we expect. So that's our approach there. Coroner, we're working on having plans and specs ready for December, January bidding, and then approval in February, consideration for approval by the county board in February for the renovation of the coroner suite and autopsy lab. Administration, parking lot rehabilitation, new surface is going along good. We will have bid plans and specs available for bidding in early winter, I believe. Certainly in time to have this in front of the county board for consideration and then construction in the spring of 2025. Administration rooftop equipment is being manufactured now and will be installed in the spring. We have plans and specs for the installation of the equipment being developed, and again, we'll have that in front of the county board this fall, winter for spring start. Valley High Memory Care is tracking well. Budget is intact and schedule is progressing as planned. So that's going along well, starting to take shape. Some of you have had a chance to take a look at it. May still look a little conceptual to you when you walk around, but it really started to look like something that we can all be proud of. So I'm glad to report on that. That's what I have.
Questions? Thank you.
You're welcome.
HR.
Hello. Okay. So I had prepared, Pete and I had a conversation in regards to open positions, I think as you're starting to look into budgets and stuff. So I know Cheryl went over this with you in June, but I've prepared a new updated list where you kind of color coded it, divided by department. So you can easily see where the positions are open, how long they've been open. I think for a group our size, I think we do really well. And there are just a couple positions that probably have been open a little bit longer, but are easy to explain. So when you look at, if you look down the block that I just kind of color coded, you have sheriffs as a group, you have DOT, you have health, Valley High, and then on the back of the page, it gives you a little summary of how many vacancies we've been trending throughout the months for the last couple of years, as well as the cost right now overall for these positions that are currently open. So I think the biggest thing with sheriffs is we had to do their testing, which has now been completed. So they're moving into those interviewing and hiring stages. DOT, we did have one position that had to be held due to a grievance, which has now been settled, and they're looking to fill that. Their transportation and planning manager has been open for a while. I actually had a conversation again with Joe last night. I think he might be looking at doing some reclassifications or kind of re-identifying that position. So we've been communicating with him about that. Health department, I think the admin specialist that's been open for 14 months is just one of those that kind of starts to turn over, and we maybe have filled other open position numbers and maybe just haven't hit that one. Valley High, the biggest thing is that, they've been doing a lot of holding in anticipation of that memory care unit. So a lot of those positions have been just kind of in a holding pattern. And so that kind of just kind of identifies. You can see the smaller ones, the one-offs in the departments, are very minimal in their months of vacancy. So I think we've been very successful in, being able to recruit and keep the positions filled. So,
Except for nursing at Valley High. There's lots of those that are overline.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so if you ever have any questions on it, please reach out to me. And I can keep you posted, but I thought this would be probably beneficial to have it with you as you work through the budgets with the different departments. So, okay. So that's it. Any questions?
Do you have an electronic copy?
I do. Absolutely. Sure, I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
Okay, so IMRF is back in the house again today. We have had huge interest in people and employees talking to them about setting up for retirement. We had them in to do some workshops and stuff. The one-on-one meetings filled up so quickly. We asked them to bring 2 representatives back again. And we filled I think it was like 36 open meetings within like 20 minutes again. So, so good interest there. So they're back in the building today. We are still working through and getting into our negotiations with Unit 1 with deputies and Unit 2 with corrections. We have meetings again scheduled for mid-August and September. And the probations, we're still waiting for their demand to bargain, so they have not come forward yet. We have a lot of emails. You'll see a lot of emails with wellness events. We're just having really good success with all of them. Can't, appreciate everybody's cooperation and help with that, so that's been going well. The team is really busy. We're looking at open enrollment, performance reviews, and compensation. The last quarter of the year gets really busy for us, so heads down, getting all that ready. 2 really good things. We've had the RPA IPBC team. That's the pool where we get our insurance from. The RPA service team works with us on a day-to-day basis with any type of issues or concerns that we're having. And they come out and do a whole review of our claims utilization to let us know how, we're faring in the market, our claims if we're utilizing, high or low. HMO right now is trending a little high, which generally means we have some higher risk claims in the HMO, but it all balances out with the pool. The one thing I thought was interesting is we're underutilizing our dental insurance. So we got to encourage people to get out there and see their dentist. So we're really underutilizing the dental services. So yeah, so big reminder to everybody to use your dental insurance. Dave Cook, the IPPC Executive Director, I invited him out to actually meet with Carrie, myself, and Lorraine, just to go over the fundamental functions and finances within IPPC, that we all have a clear understanding. Very positive, very good outcome to that meeting. So
I appreciate you doing that.
Yes.
That was a really important step, and I appreciate your opening the doors to the health insurance dollars for Carrie.
yeah, it's a big process. IPPC has 130 plus municipalities that they work with. They touch everything from the top of Illinois to southern Illinois. So it's a really good pool. It's been extremely beneficial for the county to be involved in. Next month when we bring budgets forward, we'll be talking a lot about those kind of things. But it's been super beneficial. So, but yes, we just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page with that. Any questions for me?
Anybody?
How do you like it so far?
It's fun. I think Joe said to me last night, he said, I can't wait, he goes, you're just always happy. He goes, I'll talk to you tomorrow after your meeting and see if you're still happy. And I'm like, I'm happy.
Suzanne is so comfy, she hasn't even changed offices.
No,
right? Yeah. Well, I was wondering, this is maybe not a public meeting thing. I was like, I'm wondering what kind of thing she wants to do that would be different, but that's not necessarily a public comment thing you want to say.
Earlier in the agenda, you approved a couple of tweaks in personnel.
Yeah.
Suzanne's starting to kind of put her stamp on how she wants the office to be structured.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to see it move forward. we have a great team. We work really hard. It's good to get involved with the employees, and Human Resources has just been my world for so long that I find positive in everything and everybody. You're gonna have a bad day, but you just have to keep smiling and move forward. So, yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you
I'm
for the
glad you're still
opportunity.
enjoying it after.
Pardon me?
I'm glad you're still enjoying it.
Yeah, only after this long. Yes, I am very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, come on up.
Come on down. Communications report. I know you've seen a lot of me today, but that's all right. I promise to keep this one brief. First update for you is the communication strategic plan. I am very grateful to our county coordinator, Shane Daigle. She's helping us to collaborate with our municipal partners and collect different updated information on public information officers so that we have contact information that's up to date at all times in case of emergency, so we can always reach out to one another and share information. County collaborations, we have a lot this time. We collaborated with the McHenry County Treasurer and the County Clerk to publicize and put out a press release regarding the property tax workshop that just happened yesterday. I hate to steal their thunder, but they did a fantastic job. They had 21 in-person participants and another 14 online. So it seemed that there's a lot of really good feedback from what I've heard. So more to come on that. We are proud to work with the McHenry County Economic Development Corporation to raise awareness of the Greater Chicagoland Economic Partnership and how they brought in BTEC, which is the Brazilian Tech Connection, a consortium of different tech experts from across Brazil who came over to McHenry County to learn about our different processes and find opportunities for potential business entry opportunities.
With an ag focus.
Yes, there was an ag focus.
It was an ag focus. It was cool. It was how tech and ag come together. It was really neat.
Yes, it was. I was also pleased to work with the circuit clerk. Earlier this month, or actually it was last month, her employees got together outside of work hours and, banded behind one of their own whose granddaughter had been in the hospital and developed a nonprofit to bring toys to young ones that, made it to the hospital and give them a little silver lining and a little bit of comfort, when they're in a hospital. So they prepared 3,000 mason jars with little finger toys that local kids in the hospitals could, play with as they're going through a difficult time. So very sweet on their part. We also work with the college to coordinate some communications about the rotational internship program. And we worked with the Department of Health to share their fabulous video series about the different, that was a different one. Sorry, that was the last time around. This time around was about the community health initiatives, and that was funded by the McHenry County Board Advanced McHenry County program, and we were happy to help push out all the grant work that they made. So that's for now. I also want to note and put on your radar that we have another Economic Development Corporation collaboration that's coming up this month, and I can't say too much about it because I don't want to give away, I don't want to give anything away, but I'm pleased to work with the new Executive Director, Mark Picos, on a new video series that's going to highlight different aspects of the county, different, different business success stories and different resources we have and why we're such a good place to do business. So more to come on that. Chairman Bueller has graciously agreed to be part of the introduction video and kick it off and introduce our new executive director. So it'll be great. Stay tuned. Communications of note. Well, I've got to bang my own drum a little bit. The Workforce Housing Work Group's research paper came out this past month, and you all got a copy of it. If I do say so myself, I think it looks really slick. So I'll let it go at that. During the month of July, all social media channels increased their followings. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, have increased their reach compared to last month. LinkedIn decreased, but it happens. You can see, I'm not going to go through all the different posts that we had by, that were the best by reach and engagement, but it's right there for your review. If you have any questions, let me know. Also, if you want to see any of the stories that are referenced in the Northwest Herald, I do have hyperlinks in the report, so you can feel free to check them out.
Questions?
Yeah, why did you spell Mason like that for Mason jars? Is that
Because-
new? Is that something new?
No, that's the name of the circuit clerk's granddaughter, Mason, she spells it that way.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's, so that's.
Instead of M-A-S, so,
Exactly.
got it, thank you.
And that's actually the name of the nonprofit in question, Mason's Jars.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very cute.
Right, Pete?
Coming down the home stretch, at least you referenced the workforce report. Jalen is going to host a meeting of the municipal planners and community development staff in this room on Friday. And we will, among other things, introduce them to that report and kind of let them know that this is coming. This is something that McCog's going to take leadership on now as we move into the fall. So looking forward to that. Yeah, I referenced earlier, had an important budget meeting with Chairman Bueller and Finance Chair Scala on Monday afternoon, and you know, Carrie, I think, is setting the table, and it's going to be, as I mentioned, it's going to be a challenge. But the challenge is how much less is the county's budget going to be next year? How much less is the levy? I mean, because it is going down, and that's kind of a unique situation. But you know, we know because of the mental health levy, it's going to go down, and it's going to be in the ballpark of 9 to 10 million less than last year, perhaps more. But trying to maximize that reduction is our intent, and while meeting all our services. So more to come. We're going to have a good discussion tomorrow with finance, and I'm ready for that. I think we referenced Mark Picos, our new MCEDC director. Mark is going to be at finance tomorrow, also kind of talking about reworking his advanced McHenry County grant that the county board gave to the MCEDC earlier this year. Shaylin and I, in a matter of minutes, are going over to Wonder Lake. We have a 10:30 appointment with the village administrator to talk about helping the village of Wonder Lake through our relationship with R1 Planning to work on an unserved communities grant. We've talked about this a little bit. Wonder Lake is making a $10+ million investment in their water sewer program, but it creates a door, an opportunity to bring water sewer to a couple thousand homes on the east side of Wonder Lake. But that's a multi-year, multi-million-dollar project, and we need to set the table with that and kind of get a planning grant put together. That's sort of what we're hoping to do. We did get some good news from Frontier Internet. They are kind of approved for all of their plans for the north and northeast part of this county. They got the word, I think, late last week from the state that their plans have been approved. I know it's still a matter of timing and the queue and who's going to, but it is good to know that the state has kind of signed off on what they're doing. Also, at the end of last week on Friday, we opened bids for Randall Road. Bids were on the high side, but within our boundaries. We kind of anticipated a $57 to $63, $64 million bid. It came in at 63.5. We had 5 of the 6 bidders within $2 million of each other, so we know that was a good, tight, accurate bid. So that was good news. The other really good news about this northern section of Randall is 80% of that $63 million is going to be paid for with federal money. By comparison, just so you know, when we did the southern stretch of Randall from JCPenney's up to Costco, that was less than 50% federal money. So that was a much bigger lift for the county. So this northern section is going to be a lot more federal funded. That's great. Speaking of transportation, on the 28th of this month, there'll be a Senate hearing on the RTA reorganization, potentially. Chairman Bueller will be speaking there. We're working with him on his comments, but that'll be at 10 o'clock at Elgin Community College. And I think that was all the things I scribbled. We will have a written report for you at your September Committee of the Whole from all of your county board offices and departments. Thanks.
Any questions of me? Thank you. It brings us to, anybody have future topics? If not, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Topics or adjourn?
No, adjourn, sorry. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
To read my mind.
Motions and seconds by Gloria.
Oh, I
All
have a
those in
question.
favor?
Do you think we're going to happen with Julie
I sent her an email, she hasn't responded.
Okay, all right.
We haven't heard from Julie, so we'll put it on next month if she wants to do it, but,
Okay.
okay? Thank you. All those in favor of adjournment,